Hello everyone. Tonight, we're diving into two terrifying, real-life stories that might just keep you up until morning. For the full experience, turn off the lights and put on your headphones. 6 months, that's how long it had been since Emily died. Nathan still remembered every second of that day, how they had argued in the morning over something stupid, how she stormed out of the house, and how he never got the chance to say he was sorry. The phone call from the hospital came hours later. Emily had been in an accident. A drunk driver ran a red light. Nathan's world crumbled. He blamed himself for their last argument and spent his nights scrolling through her Facebook profile. It was all he had left: her photos, her pose, and the occasional comments from friends who were grieving her too. One night, while aimlessly scrolling, he got a notification. "Emily has sent you a message." Nathan stared at the screen. It had to be a mistake, or a cruel hacker. Hands trembling, he clicked on it. "Hey, are you there?" His heart raced. No one had access to her account. He never even knew her password. He typed back, "Who is this? This isn't funny." The reply came instantly. "It's me, Nathan." "It's Emily." A chill ran down his spine. His first instinct was anger. This had to be someone's twisted idea of a joke. But, as the messages continued, Nathan's confusion turned to unease. "I miss you." The next message read, "It's so cold here." Nathan hesitated before typing, "Where are you?" There was no response for a long time. He stared at the screen, willing himself to calm down. It had to be some kind of scam. Maybe her account had been hacked. Then the reply came, "I'm where I died. I'm stuck. Nate. I don't know how to leave." Nathan felt the air leave his lungs. He stared at the screen, unable to process the words. He closed the chat window and turned off his computer, trying to convince himself it wasn't real. But when he finally went to bed, sleep didn't come. The messages didn't stop. Every few nights, Nathan would wake up to find new messages waiting for him. Sometimes, they were simple. "I miss you." Other times, they were terrifyingly specific. "Do you remember the time we sat by the lake and talked about our future? I love the way you used to kiss my forehead." These were things only Emily could know. Nathan started losing sleep, his days blurring together as he obsessed over the messages. He tried reporting the account, but nothing happened. Facebook sent back automated replies, saying there was no suspicious activity. One night, he received a photo. It was taken from outside his apartment window. The angle was unmistakable. It was from the alley right below. Nathan's stomach twisted as he ran to the window. The street below was empty, but the feeling of being watched clung to him like a second skin. "I'm close." The next message read. Nathan began noticing strange things around his apartment. Lights flickered at odd times. Objects moved from where he'd left them. The smell of Emily's perfumed lavender and vanilla would fill the air, even though he hadn't touched her things in months. One night, while lying in bed, he heard it, a faint whisper. "Nate ... double quotes." He bolted upright, his heart pounding. The room was empty, but the voice had been so clear, so familiar. He grabbed his phone, opening the chat. "What do you want?" he typed, his hands shaking. The reply came immediately. "I'm lonely." Nathan stared at the words, tears streaming down his face. He didn't know what to do. Was this really Emily? Or something pretending to be her? He decided to confront it. If there was even a chance Emily was reaching out to him, he had to know. The next night, Nathan set up his computer and opened the chat. He started typing, "Emily, if it's really you, give me a sign." For a moment, nothing happened. Then, his computer screen glitched. The lights in his room flickered, and a cold draft swept through the air. A new message appeared on the screen. "I'm here." The words were followed by another photo. This time, it wasn't from outside. It was a picture of Nathan, sitting at his desk. He turned around, his heart pounding, but the room was empty. Panicked, Nathan grabbed his phone and called his best friend, Matt. Through tears, he explained everything: the messages, the photos, the strange occurrences. Matt was skeptical, but agreed to come over and stay the night. Matt arrived within the hour, armed with every logical explanation he could think of. But, as the night wore on, even Matt couldn't deny that something was wrong. The lights flickered more frequently, and they both heard faint whispers echoing through the apartment. Around 3 a.m., Nathan's computer turned on by itself. The chat window popped up, and a new message appeared. "Why did you bring him here?" Matt read the message and paled. "Dude, we need to leave." But before they could move, the room grew unbearably cold. The lavender scent turned sour, almost rancid. A shadow flickered across the walls, too tall and distorted to be human. The computer screen glitched again, and the final message appeared. "I'm inside." Nathan and Matt turned to see a figure standing in the doorway, a pale, hollow-eyed version of Emily, her face twisted into an unnatural grin. The lights went out. It was past midnight when I decided to go for a walk. Insomnia had been my constant companion for months, and walking the quiet streets of my neighborhood helped calm my restless mind. The city was silent, bathed in the yellow glow of streetlights, and the only sound was the faint hum of the wind. I turned onto a street I didn't usually walk, just for a change of scenery. That's when I saw him. He was a man, dressed in a worn, outdated suit. His steps were exaggerated, almost comical, like a mime performing a skit. He was far ahead, walking in the same direction as me. So I didn't think much of it at first. Maybe he was drunk or just eccentric. But then he stopped. Slowly, he turned to face me. His movements were deliberate, almost robotic. When our eyes met, I felt a chill run down my spine. He was smiling a wide, unnatural grin that stretched his face in ways that didn't seem human. I stopped in my tracks, unsure of what to do. He didn't move, just stood there, smiling at me. I tried to act casual, crossing to the other side of the street, but as I moved, so did he. I quickened my pace. So did he. The street felt longer than usual, the buildings on either side towering over me like silent witnesses. I could hear his footsteps now, a rhythmic tap-tap-tap that matched my own. "Beautiful night, isn't it?" He called out suddenly, his voice high-pitched and sing-songy, like he was mocking me. I didn't reply. I kept walking, my heart pounding in my chest. I turned the corner, hoping to lose him, but when I glanced over my shoulder, he was still there, his grin impossibly wide, his eyes locked on me. His movements became stranger. He wasn't just walking anymore. He was swaying, almost dancing, his arms flailing in exaggerated gestures. "Why are you running?" he shouted, though I wasn't running yet. His voice echoed down the empty street. I broke into a jog. So did he. The sound of his footsteps quickened, echoing louder. Panic set in, and I sprinted, turning down another street, then another, trying to lose him. Finally, I reached my apartment building. I fumbled with my keys, glancing over my shoulder. He was at the end of the block, standing perfectly still under a street light, his shadow stretching impossibly long. I slammed the door behind me and ran up the stairs to my apartment. Safe inside, I locked the door and peered out the window. He was still there, staring up at me. The hours crawled by. He didn't move, didn't look away. His grin never wavered. At sunrise, I finally gathered the courage to look again, but he was gone. Relief washed over me, but it was short-lived. That night, as I lay in bed, I heard it, tap, 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 footsteps outside my window. Even though I lived on the third floor,